You guys, are you ready for her? Yeah, right. Correct response. She is so funny. Make some noise right now for the great Katie Kerwinski, everyone.
Hey, I know I walk softly. Thank you for hearing me come on stage. Usually, I have such a soft step, people never hear me when I come in a room. I could be a cat burglar. They don't hear me until I'm right up next to them, and they're like, "Oh my God, you scared me. And what are you doing in my kitchen? And put my cat down. Who are you?" I was in CVS the other day, and I hate it how you walk in and they yell across the whole store, "Welcome to CVS, ma'am," making assumptions about me. I pulled the guy aside, I'm like, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, but I don't identify as old." Then in the nuts aisle, Planters is advertising 50% less peanuts in the mixed nuts can, right next to Mr. Peanut. I mean, it must be killing him inside. I can imagine how the marketing meeting went. "So guys, what do you got for our new ad campaign?" 50% less peanuts. His monocle falls out. "But I'm 100% peanut. Do you want to be on this label or not?" "Well, don't mind me. I just spearheaded this movement." Well, we're trying to diversify, Mr. Peanut. The peanuts are an old paradigm, and we want to amplify the voices of the cashews. So I used to play softball in 8th grade. To give you an idea of my skills, I had a batting average below the Mendoza line and a fielding average of negative 10%. And I know you're asking yourself, how could it be negative 10%? Well, that's because one day we played a team that didn't have enough players and they were gonna have to cancel the game. So my coach saved the day. He's like, "You can have Katie." So they put me in right field, and my teammate's up to bat, and she hits a high fly right to me, and I caught it. It was the only catch I made the whole season for the other team. The parents didn't know if they should cheer or throw their peanuts at me, 50% of them. But I did finally get the respect of the coach, just the wrong coach. Who makes New Year's resolutions here? Anyone? No, you don't? Oh, I love making resolutions. This year my resolution was to speak in accents more often, just to spice things up. I think it's hilarious, especially because I'm not good at accents, but most cashiers don't even look up. When I was in CVS the other day, I said to the cashier, "Can I get one of those Marlboros behind you, hun?" And she said, "Which one? These lights?" I'm like, wait a second, I'm the comedian here. So I switched accents on her. I'm like, "No, my dear, the red ones, if you would be so kind." And she said, "That will be £8, 6 pence." It was a faker face-off. So I decided to raise the ante. I'm like, "Keep the change, you're gonna need it for your acting classes." Miss Gen Z is never gonna know who Mae West is. But I gotta hand it to her because she got me when she said, "Here's looking at you, ma'am." Has anyone ever been interviewed on the news, like at random, like as a bystander? No one? I've been interviewed 5 times. I don't know why. They always choose me. I think they regret it later. But one time I was in the subway. I was waiting for the train. I'd stayed late at work, so the platform was empty. And this camera crew swoops in out of nowhere. There's like bright lights on me. "Can we ask you a few questions about the rape and murder that just occurred on this platform last night?" I'm like trying to wrap my head around that since I don't watch the news, so I didn't know. "Sure." Suddenly I'm on camera. "How do you feel about the rape and murder?" about rape and murder? Ooh, not good. Anti. I mean, I'm definitely not pro-murder. Well, I mean, I'm against it unless the murder was of the guy who was the rapist. So, a few years later, I was living in LA and I had come in on a flight to LAX airport, and the whole airport was shut down. There had been a power outage. They weren't letting anyone leave. It's pitch black. I'm like, hell if I'm getting stuck here all night when I live 20 minutes away. So I walk to the end of the terminal. I'm pulling my suitcase behind me. I find this out of the way place and where there were no police, and I snuck away. I'm walking down this path, in the middle of nowhere, pitch black. This white van speeds up out of nowhere. A camera crew hops out, and they're like, how do you feel being stranded at LAX airport? I'll tell you how I feel. They need better lighting, more police presence, maybe some cheerful murals. They should be selling more Planters peanuts in their stores. So a few years ago, I became a bartender. I didn't know anything about bartending. I don't even drink. And I got a job making margaritas from scratch. It is a lot of work. You have to cut and squeeze all the limes. You have to boil water and sugar to make the simple syrup. Memorize all these ingredients. And then on my first day, my very first margarita, a camera crew shows up. Dawn's Dish, a news show, was covering the restaurant. And the cameraman's like, okay, you make the margarita, and then Dawn's gonna interview you. Okay. So, tell us, how do you make a margarita? Well, you put in some lime, and then some simple syrup, and some tequila, Cointreau, ice. This kind of looks a little empty. Then add some Sprite. And then shake it up. That is when I learned you cannot put Sprite in a shaker. I hear some bartenders out there, you know that. It explodes all over the camera lens, all over Dawn's perfectly coiffed hair, makeup, reporter outfit. She gave me the dagger eyes. I'm like, Dawn, there were 2 rapes and murders right down the street. Why are you asking me about a margarita? Thank you.
One more time for Katie and all the performers tonight. One more time for yourself and your staff for coming out here. Thank you guys so much. Continue to support these guys. They're all so funny. And drive safe. Have a great night. Thanks a lot.